Hi, it's Meg with SwissWatchExpo. I have a Patek Philippe that's packed with all kinds of special features. Stick around just a minute, I'm going to tell you all about it. Hi, welcome back. It's Meg at SwissWatchExpo. We always enjoy sharing our favorite watches with you every week. Sometimes a watch comes in that we have to film it right away because frankly, it's not going to be here long. We're getting in some extraordinary inventory. We're actually preparing for the holidays. I know the weather's just started to cool down, but we're already thinking towards the holidays. And during that time, we have some extraordinary, always, but especially for the holidays, we try to our buyers do a phenomenal job, bring in extraordinary timepieces. Today, you know that I'm a huge fan of Patek Philippe. They're my all-time favorite. I think they're the best of the best. And one of the grand complications that's always most admired within the watch world is a perpetual calendar. Extraordinary, beautiful, just remarkable, all kinds of great adjectives for this watch. This is the Patek Philippe 5159. It's made in white gold and yellow gold. This particular one I have is white gold. It's an officer's watch. So the officer's watch category is actually known by the fact that there's a dust cover on the back. I'm going to show this to you. We're going to start on the back of the watch and then flip it over and move to the front. So the officer's watch always have this wonderful dust cover on it. This simply opens it, and then you do see the extraordinary movement. We're going to talk about the movement as well. There's just a lot to talk about today. But what's so fascinating about the dust cover on the Patek Philippe, that's not something that's just put on there with a hinge and closed. The master watchmakers that create these watches will spend hours under microscope making sure that when this is closed, it's perfectly sealed all the way around. And I'm going to stop talking for a minute. I want you to hear this again because this is important. There's that special click. They'll work for days sometimes to make sure. That's a very particular Patek Philippe sound when you close the dust cover. And they'll work to make sure that that click always sounds just like that. So the little details that none of us would think about, it's all important to Patek Philippe, which is why I love their timepieces so much. So 5159, officer's watch. This is a perpetual calendar. So you all know, you guys follow along, great students, great connoisseurs of fine watches. The perpetual calendar is something that will always take into account leap year. It's not something that you have to reset once it's been set before. And there's a lot of numbers here today that I'm going to throw out at you, but we're going to go through them one at a time. Once the watch is set and wound and running, it's accurate for 122 years. It's pretty phenomenal, just that it takes into account, and then I think it's 122 years and 45 days. And then it only has to be adjusted by 1 day. So it's pretty extraordinary. The moon phase as well takes into account all of the timing and the perpetual calendar. So let's start with the dial because it's just packed with all kinds of great features. So we've talked about it's a perpetual calendar. The small aperture window right below noon, in a perpetual calendar, there's always 4 years in the cycle of a leap year cycle. It tells you which cycle that one is in particular. That's how it knows which year is leap year, and to include that 29. One of the things that's really beautiful on this particular perpetual calendar is the retrograde calendar, the date of the month. You can see it's a 270-degree arc. Beautiful just indication. And what's fascinating about this is when it gets to the end of the month, it has a flyback that jumps back to 1. That flyback hand actually disengages from the train and the mechanism of the watch, so it lands exactly on 1. It doesn't rebound, it doesn't bounce at all. Just again, the technology and the precision of their watches is, I mean, the more you dig into it, the deeper it is. So it's phenomenal. So phase of which year, leap year cycle we're in, the retrograde date on here, of course, the month and the day is at 3 and 9 o'clock, and the moon phase is at 6 o'clock. One of the things they did, of course, this is intended to be worn and enjoyed and used and read easily all the time. They've elongated the hour hand, the Roman numerals of the hour markers on each one of these, so that's easy to read. Your 5-minute markers are indicated in blue around the outside edge. Quite beautiful as well. And then the hands almost look like they're floating off of the mechanism and the dial of the watch. They're a black oxidized gold, so stunning. Just all kinds of beautiful and interesting features in this particular watch. In order for them to put all of these parts together and make all these phenomenal complications work so cohesively together, there's 361 parts inside this. So I showed you the back already. In the movement, you can see the 21 karat rotor. It is an automatic movement, so it's not a manual wind. It's not something you have to set and wind all the time. About a 40 to 48 hour power reserve. Beautiful timepiece inside and out. I'll keep showing you all the special features of the dial, but there's something that it's running, and there's something that I do want you to take a quick look at, because on a perpetual calendar, it's pretty unusual that is featured on this particular watch. It's got a sweep second hand. Most of the time, the perpetual calendars watches don't have that sweep second hand. It's one of the few. So like I said, this watch is packed with goodies, packed with special things to look at and show you. Just wanted to make sure we pointed out that sweep second hand as well. It's extraordinary. The other thing that I'm excited to show you this watch for, this one actually comes with its original box and certificate of origin. Sometimes we have a Patek Philippe that's been well loved and treasured by somebody, but we don't always have the privilege of getting that certificate of origin, but this one does. So Patek Philippe 5159, perpetual calendar, white gold, 38 millimeter. That's the other thing about this one. This is a more current model, so it's a larger timepiece than what Patek Philippe has made in the past. I can go on and on and on, tell you so many things about this watch, but I'd rather show it to you in person. Give me a call. We'll set up a FaceTime call, or if you're in Atlanta, call us ahead of time for an in-store appointment. If this watch is sold, don't you worry. Patek Philippe watches are something we love and really focus on, as well as AP, Vacheron, all those very fine watches. We have a very special watch for you for the holidays, or maybe sooner than that. Give us a call here at SwissWatchExpo. As always, thumbs up our videos, keep subscribing to our YouTubes, and thanks for tuning in every week.